welcome back to the channel. My name is Thomas Fletcher, and I'm the host of both the Military Social Work Network and the LCSW Network. If you're new to these channels, please do me a favor by smashing that like button, by subscribing to the channel, and by sharing this video with your social work colleagues and friends. The purpose of these channels is to create a community of hope and support, where social workers can come for relevant news, information, and inspiration. Well, welcome back to Ask a Military Social Worker. This is my first episode for 2022. So back in December, I received a message from a viewer named Gregory. Gregory asked, or Gregory says, I'm currently in the process of obtaining my MSW. I'm also a cadet in my university's ROTC program. Since I will be commissioning already with a master's, what is your recommendation to move forward as a social worker? Would social workers fall under the medical service branch, and what was Bullock like? All right, Gregory, well, thank you for sending me your comments and for asking these great questions. I'll start off with the easy question. Social workers fall under the Medical Service Corps. Okay, so I'm a social worker in the California Army National Guard, and I serve under the Medical Service Corps. Okay, so that one was easy. BOLIC, for those of you that don't know what that acronym stands for, that's Basic Officer Leadership Course. So as a Army reservist, I had to take about 80 hours of the online Basic Officer Leadership course. It was a lot of modules of Basic Officer Leadership course. And forgive me, guys, but it's been, I originally took the online portion back in 2012, so 10 years ago. So forgive me if I can't tell you everything. But again, it was 80 hours of online training. So that was part one of Basic Officer Leadership course. Part two was a 3.5-week in-person training at Fort Sam Houston. So I think we had about 1 week of reviewing all of the information that was covered in part one, and then the last 2 weeks was the infield. That was at, I think it was at Lackland, the infield part. That's where you go over the obstacle courses and the ruck marches, and we did the roll 1, roll 2, roll 3 medical training and exercises and all that stuff. You're doing a lot of the soldier stuff in the 2-week portion outside of the classroom. So to answer that question, it's a very abbreviated training for civilians that have gone through the direct commissioning process. But that's all changed now. So if you're getting commissioned now, you have to go through direct commissioning course before you even get to the Basic Officer Leadership course. Luckily for me, I didn't have to go through that direct commissioning course. I think it's at Fort Rucker, but you can look that up. So that's the answer. What was Bullock like? Now to get to your main question, as far as recommendations for what you want to do moving forward as a social worker. So if you are I'm going to assume that you are already in the military. You didn't from what you sent me, you didn't state if you're active duty or if you're a reservist. If you're active duty, you'll get your hours. After you get your MSW, you'll have to get your hours for licensing. You could do that if you're a reservist. If you are a reservist, here's my recommendation. My recommendation is that you get a job in the VA, the Department of Veterans Affairs. And I can speak with a lot of authority since I've been working as a social worker at the VA for almost 18 years now. So my recommendation, if you are a reservist, if you're active duty, then this recommendation will be moot. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that you're a reservist, I would recommend that you get an MSW position at the VA. Start getting your hours for licensing, your supervision hours for licensing at the VA. And what the military will do is, until you get your LCSW, you will most likely be placed in a 70 series position, like medical medical administration officer, something like that. That's where you will be placed until you get your LCSW. Once you get your LCSW, then they'll be able to place you under a 73 Alpha, which is a social work officer position. And I'm speaking now just about the Army, because that's my experience. I've been serving with the Army National Guard now for over 10 years. Okay, so that's what I'm speaking. The Air Force, they have a different classification for social workers. The Navy, they have different classification for social workers. But I'm gonna assume that you are either in the Army Reserve, Army National Guard, or again, if you're Army active duty, then you will get your hours at an MTF under the supervision of a licensed uniformed social work officer, or a licensed psychologist that is serving in the Army at one of the MTFs. MTFs are military treatment facilities. Okay, so that's my recommendation. Again, if you're a reservist, get a job at the VA. The VA is always looking for especially new graduates, and some of the most popular positions that I've talked about in previous videos are HUD-VASH, Housing Urban Development, VA Supported Housing. The VA has been working towards ending veteran homelessness for well over 10 years now. It's been longer than that. But at least since President Obama's administration, that's been a high-level goal of ending veteran homelessness. So they're always looking, and I know from experience, from my own personal experience, as well as working at the VA that I currently work at, the turnover in the HUD-VASH program for social workers is high. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It is a high-pressure job. Which does cause burnout, which does cause a high turnover. I'm not disparaging the program. It's a good program. It's an important program. It's a necessary program. But the caseloads are heavy. You're out, you're driving around. The population can be very demanding, clinically demanding. Homeless veterans may not always be in alignment with things like housing and being adherent or compliant with treatment goals and stuff. So it's a difficult job, and so that's where the high turnover comes. But again, it's an opportunity to enter the VA as a new graduate MSW, newly graduated MSW. And of course, there's other jobs, inpatient psychiatry jobs, grant per diem, mental health intensive case management. But my experience is HUD-VASH positions they're always being posted. So that's my recommendation. If you are, Gregory, a reservist or a National Guard service member, I would recommend that you get a job in the VA, because there's such a great overlap between working in the VA and being a reservist, either Army reservist or National Guard service member. the overlap is great. I think it's great. You know, I've been a social worker at the VA now for almost 18 years, and I've been a service member with the National Guard for 10 years now. So that's my recommendation. But I'd be interested to hear other people's recommendations. And also, Gregory, if you can provide some further information, like, are you active duty? Are you Army Reserve? Are you National Guard? Or maybe you're another branch, you know, maybe you're Navy, maybe you're Air Force, you know. So if you could give us any more information, you know, that would also be helpful. But I hope this was helpful to you, Gregory, and hopefully we've helped other people as well. All right, I'm going to stop here, but I want to thank you all for watching this video. For all the social workers out there, thank you for the work that you do every day, for your clients, for your agency, and for the profession. Please continue to support each other and yourselves. Bye for now.